Hello again, fellow audiophiles. I am Wave Theory, and today I want to revisit the Ray tubes. Okay, 6SN7 Reserve and the 12AU7 Select, which I have the boxes for here. I'll show you the actual tubes themselves in the device that they're plugged into in just a moment. And the purpose of this video is to revisit them on a higher end piece of gear. And I'll show you what that higher end piece of gear is and where they really start to separate themselves from the pack and the comparisons that I did in previous reviews of them. So please see the description below for these videos. These were sent to me by Apos Audio. They have let me hang on to them as reference tubes, and I'm glad they did because they really are quite good and they start to return more and more value to you as you scale up in gear. And I'm going to unpack that a little bit more here in this video. So stick around after Shameless self-promotion to kind of hear my take two thoughts on how the Ray tubes scale up with gear quality.
Hello. I'm one of the reasons that Wave Theory can't spend all of his money on audio gear. He wants you to know that your support is vital for keeping the channel running. So if you enjoy Wave Theory's bussin' review riz and no-cap review style and want to encourage him to stay in the basement so I don't have to listen to his dad jokes as much, like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also send him a donation on PayPal or sign up for the Patreon. Links are in the description. Now on to the review.
Alright, here's the Lampezator Baltic 3 DAC, a recent acquisition for me. I got it used and all of that as another reference DAC to have on hand. Now, one of the benefits to getting it, and I didn't necessarily look for this, but one of the benefits of it is that it is a vacuum tube DAC, and so I get to test vacuum tubes. And I want to come back to the Ray tubes today, the 6SN7 Reserve, which this unit has a matched pair of, and then back behind those, if the camera will focus on them, who knows. Okay, back behind those we have I have a matched pair of 12AU7. I will try to get a cleaner shot of them at some point. Okay, back behind there. All right, I didn't pull them out for this little mini review because they're hot. And also, I just don't want to turn this off and on just a whole bunch of times unnecessarily. So we're just going to do it from this vantage point here. Okay. Why did I want to do this? So following my review of the Pavane Horizon series tubes, which were really good. This video is not a knock on the Pavane Horizon series. They are excellent tubes that are kind of like just above entry level, but they're not on this level. Okay, I have more in-depth detailed reviews of the Ray tubes, okay, on my channel. I will link to them, okay, in the description below. What I want to say here, though, is like I really noticed how these tubes scale up on a unit like the Baltic 3. The Baltic 3 is like, you know, between $6,000 and $7,000 usually, depending on options. At least the Baltic 4 is the newer model is in that price, but this is like in that range, brand new. So it's a really high-end device. What happens with these tubes when you put them on here? Well, they scale up. Right? They still maintain an overall neutral profile to their frequency response, but the imaging improves, the separation improves, the overall holography of the spatial presentation really jumps forward using both the Select there in the back and then again with the Reserve here, because I stepped up to them over other tube types individually first to see what would happen, and that to me was just like the detail, the resolution, the spatial holography, just the cleanliness and the clarity of the sound, and just how natural the timbre was, and all of that really improved when we scaled up to a device on this level. So like particularly with the Select tubes there, again, the little ones down in the back there, like, I originally reviewed those on, like, my Canon HA1A Mark II, and I think it was the X-Duo TA20 Plus, and all of those, and those are fine devices, and I could tell that the 12AU7 Selects, they were, you know, a little bit better sounding than something like a Pavane Art series, or, you know, those kinds of things, but they weren't, like, really grabbing my attention, but they did on this device here on the Baltic 3. So, just a quick hitter video here to say that Yeah, the Ray 6SN7 Select, and then the 12AU7 Select, and then I will also make the assumption that the 12AX7 by Select, okay, just by virtue of being the same kind of tube with a different voltage on it, those guys really take off in their overall performance on higher end devices and scale up quite impressively so. So if any really high-end tube device users are out there and you're wondering, like, are those Ray tubes any good? Yes, they are. They are really good. And it seems like the higher you go up in gear quality, the more performance you'll get out of them and the bigger performance gap you will enjoy over a lot of other offerings that are down under $100 or so. Because, again, these are more expensive. But again, their value really starts to return on something up in this price range. So I just thought I would drop that note in here real quick on these Ray tubes. Again, yes, they scale up and they start to return more and more of their value to you on higher end gear like this Lampizator Baltic 3. This is just an old Sylvania NOS tube for the rectifier tube on this. Don't worry about that one. We're talking about these back here on this one. Okay, I'm Wave Theory. Thanks for watching my second thoughts on how the Ray 6SN7 and 12AU7 Select vacuum tubes scale up higher end gear. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment if you have not done so already. Please check out my PayPal and my Patreon, and generally do those things you do to support the YouTube channels. And as always, enjoy the music.